What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Marvel Thunderbolts. So, Marvel's Thunderbolts is Marvel's next tentpole theatrical release, coming out at the start of May. We've just had Daredevil Born Again come out. Careful for spoilers! 3, 2, 1. Foggy isn't actually dead. You'll find out in prior time why. So, whoever they've hired to market Thunderbolts, why aren't they marketing every other Marvel movie? Why are Marvel marketing Thunderbolts so amazingly, but they didn't do the same thing with like the Marvels, Captain America 4, so on and so forth? So, Empire Magazine has just dropped a new article which confirms the leaks. The most recent trailer that came out a few days ago for the Thunderbolts confirms the leaks. Now, why is this good? Because there's nothing you can really spoil about this movie, because overall, it's not really got much to do with a multiversal saga outside of developing the, careful spoilers, the Dark Avengers, Sentry, so on and so forth. So, if you are new around here, what the frickin' hell are you doing? I've been covering Marvel, DC, Kaiju, monsterverse, pop culture-based stuff for years. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below, how freaking excited are you for the future of Marvel? Now, I wouldn't say Daredevil Born Again is on Netflix season 1 Daredevil level, but they've basically just carbon copied it, which kind of cheapens it, realistically. Haven't even put their own spin on it, but it's very good. So at least with Daredevil, and with the Thunderbolts, Marvel! I'm not going to say Marvel was back, because Marvel never really went anywhere. They just stopped learning how to write good plot. But the Thunderbolts plot looks freaking insane. So does the Fantastic Four movie. But for some reason, they're not doing a very good job of marketing the Fantastic Four. I don't know why. So, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And check us out on Twitter, SUJ. Right, let's get into it. So, it's worth saying that in this Empire magazine, it's now officially called Watchtower. Now, as I keep telling you guys, follow the Geeky Cast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, because he never misses. He literally said a month ago, it's the new Avengers Tower, aka the Watchtower. Now, in Marvel Comics, the precedence is the Watchtower was essentially the home and headquarters of Sentry. And who happens to be in that tower in the trailer? Sentry. So, the most recent trailer basically does confirm that when they go into the void, they do see evil scenarios, hence why you see Yelena fighting Yelena. That's interesting. So are we going to see Winter Soldier fighting Winter Soldier? I think it'd be hella better if we've seen Captain America, Steve Rogers fighting Winter Soldier. Don't think that's going to happen, but maybe that is his biggest fear. So this Empire magazine says, in Thunderbolts Avenger Tower is now Val's Watchtower, a symbol of things taking a dark turn. And that's the problem with Marvel Cinematic Universe, is they're scared to go dark. They're scared to go gritty. And it's interesting what this article actually said. So they want to say, across the MCU, so far, Avengers Tower has been the beacon of hope in New York City, the home of Tony Stark, Steve Rogers Co., keeping a watchful eye on the city, ready to protect its citizens from danger. It was the scene of the epic Loki Hulk smackdown in Avengers, hosted a rocking party in Age of Ultron until the AI gate crashed and killed the vibe, and was located for the pivotal time highest moment in Avengers Endgame. But in the wake of Tony Stark's death, and with no Avengers, and they actually do keep saying that in the trailers, there's no Avengers. It isn't the Avengers Tower anymore. It's got new ownership in the Thunderbolts. These days, it's the headquarters of Val, aka Valentino, the mystery murky CIA agent director, previously seen recruiting disgraced Captain America wannabe John Wall, although I'd question he's better than the actual Captain America. Sorry! This ain't working for me, lads. Clearly the box office shows us that. For future service at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier, and for sending Yelena Belov on a murderous mission in Black Widow under Val's reign. Avengers Tower is not known, somewhat anonymously, as the Watchtower. We know what that tower means. Thunderbolts director Jay tells Empire magazine, teasing of things to come, who the person you would at least like own the tower that means so much to so many people. Can you use that as a symbol of things taking a dark turn? Well, the team's essentially called the Dark Avengers. And what is interesting is a lot of people had a lot of other ideas. Yeah, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic was good. It was going to be the buyer, but no one was really right. It's clear Val will be integral in bringing together the mismatched group of misfits who come to form the Thunderbolts team. The most Avengers adjacency amongst them is Sebastian Stan and Bucky Barnes, who actually was in Gossip Girl. Interesting. Formerly the Winter Soldier. It's like Al Pacino. Quote from Godfather: "Every time I try to get away, they pull me back in. Bucky is going to come across this group and realize they're quite similar in a way to him. So I think he feels he can contribute and be a leader. Hopefully he can bring a dash of that old Steve Rogers heroism to the building that was once the Avengers Tower." And I still think out of all the candidates, Sebastian Stan should have been Captain America. So that's essentially what it says about this part. But what is interesting is the most recent trailer confirms that literal plot leaks were true. Bob is on Val's side, although he refuses to kill in Thunderbolts. He has morals. The Thunderbolts help Bob defeat his evil persona. Val drugs him so he doesn't remember anything. Bob doesn't know much beside his name. Val puts everyone against each other, which you've literally seen it. The backup plan, if they don't do that, is to blow up the Red Room vault. We've seen that. Sentry fights the Thunderbolts on the top of the Avengers Tower. We can kind of make that out. After his defeat, the team is recognized as the new Avengers, aka the Dark Avengers. And then there's some additional information that went on to say Sentry becomes the Void in the third act. Ghost is one of the best scenes. There are multiple scenes in the Red Room. That's the overview of what the Central League said. So what is interesting is there was another interview with Empire that says Thunderbolts will be the MCU Toy Story 3. Can they get out the trash can together? What do they mean by that? While the Thunderbolts team can do a fair amount of damage, its compromise of memories have taken plenty of hits themselves. You're talking about a group of characters that have done a lot of bad things and maybe are struggling with feeling good about themselves. There's an element that does speak to mental health and loneliness and how some of that darkness that we experience in our lives can't be necessarily fixed, but can only really be made lighter through connection and finding other. Perhaps the real message of Thunderbolts also comes back to Toy Story. You've got a friend in me. So a bunch of bad people are gonna come together to take out a bad person, and the Sentry isn't really a bad person. Obviously, the Void is almost like another realm. It's his alter ego. You know, it casts a shadow over the whole of New York. But in order to defeat the Void, have to overcome their worst fears in order to help Bob, aka Sentry. But to compare it to Toy Story 3, and they essentially say in the ending of Toy Story 3 is how this movie is going to end. Well, the director of Thunderbolts is using Toy Story 3 for a reason. So the latest test screens have been very positive. Yelena is essentially the lead. The film begins with her on a mission. Some scenes are set in the Red Room, adding to the story's depth. Sentry wears a suit inspired by the comics, and Marvel's doing a good job to hide it. Although some people are making out there's already been the first reveal. A Funko Pop is not the same thing as seeing a suit. Sorry, lads. Though, yes, you can technically see it in an IMAX trailer. There is some differences and transforms into the Void in the third act. Ghost delivers one of the best, most impressive performance action sequences, and the overall action is highly praised with an intense ground tone. And the movie is often compared to Winter Soldier, which is insanely good. So there's nothing bad to say about this movie. Like I said, you can't really ruin this movie because it's like a throwaway movie. Although the Thunderbolts will reappear, sure, and Sentry will reappear, sure. And some people seem to think it's Sentry being kind of handcuffed in them Secret Wars concept art, who knows? But this movie is absolute hype. I think they have basically ruined the ending by just saying, yo, Toy Story 3 is how it ends. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.